10:01. Let's do this. So, welcome everyone to the 28th Annual AdCon Advertising Career Conference. I am Michelle Rosso. I'm the Executive Director of the Adcraft Club of Detroit, and we're thrilled to have you with us today. I'm going to go through some housekeeping real quick and then turn it over to our president, Andrew Robinson. So we've got an action-packed agenda for you, a lot going on, some fantastic speakers and sessions, and they're listed right here. You received an email on Thursday with links. Each is an individual webinar, so it's got its own separate link. They were also all in the program, so you have hot links there. One session you don't want to miss is from 2:30 to 3. That's where we'll talk about Adcraft 2021 scholarship opportunities. Our application's open today, so we'll give you more details about that. And we've got a lot going on here. We've tested this out, but please bear with us. We're going to end each session about 5 minutes early, and then we might start it a few minutes late as we're gathering with our panelists on the back end. So be patient. If the webinar starts a few minutes late, you'll still have plenty of time to hear conversation and to ask questions with our panelists. So you got that program with the links, but we're going to make it really easy for you. This is my email address. I have my out of office set right now. If you send me a message, you don't have to put anything in the subject line. You don't have to put anything in the note. Send me an email. You'll get my out of office reply. It will have every link right there for you in one place for the day. mrosso@adcraft.org. One other thing that we would like you to do for Q&A, if you could take a minute to rename yourself on Zoom. So with your name, if you could just put your school after your name so we know where you're at, we would appreciate that, and we'll give you a shout out during Q&A. And then one other thing, you got an email on Tuesday when you registered. If you registered by Monday, you got a $15 DoorDash voucher courtesy of our friends at Facebook. One note on that, if you haven't redeemed it yet, it's good all day, so you can use it tonight for dinner if you want, but it is linked to the email you registered with. So if you used a .edu, your school email to register, that's where you're going to find the DoorDash link. So look for that email on Tuesday. You can go to the DoorDash work portal. It takes a couple of minutes to activate that, and you get 15 bucks. And then one other thing throughout the day, please follow Adcraft on social media in general. It's a great way to learn about all of the different events and what's going on with the Detroit marketing community. But today, if you can take some pictures of your screen of different panelists, of people who are inspiring you, post it on social media, use the hashtag AdCon 2021. We would appreciate that. And then one other note for those of you who bought the packages that include recordings of all of the sessions, we'll send those out by end of next week. We'll just want to clean them up and do a little bit of editing before we post those and send those out. So you'll be getting those by end of next week. So that's all of the housekeeping. If you have any questions throughout the day, you have my email address. Send me an email, I'll reply back. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Andrew Robinson, the president of the Adcraft Club of Detroit.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on your Saturday. Really appreciate that. Thanks to all the panelists who are also spending their Saturday with us. What a feat to get this thing off the ground this year. Thanks for sticking with us through a crazy year, another year of AdCon. We're really excited to have you. If the DoorDash wasn't enough, when you registered for AdCon, you also received a 1-year Adcraft membership. So everyone joining us today is officially an Adcrafter. So congratulations and welcome to the club. You're in good company. The club, founded in 1905. You are now a member of the oldest nonprofit marketing association in the nation. Adcraft is considered a model for other organizations in our industry, and we accomplish this through education, professional development programs, Detroit Creative Award shows, and scholarships to help students like yourself, the next generation of our marketing professionals. You'll be learning a lot more about this later and throughout the day, and in the closing session at 2:30. So stick around for that. Do not skip this session. 2:30, mark it on your calendars. We have thousands of dollars in scholarships to be awarded. Hope it goes to you. Want to thank our sponsors. Adcraft event like AdCon would not be possible without the collective support of the Detroit marketing community, which is represented so well here today. So thank you to all of our sponsors, as you see on the screen. for their support. And a huge thank you goes out to our own Rocket Mortgage, today's presenting sponsor. In addition to AdCon, Rocket Mortgage supports Adcraft throughout the year, from membership to event sponsorships and our DE&I initiatives. We can't thank them enough for all that they do for the club, for the city, and so on, to keep the Detroit ad community connected and to support our next generation of future leaders in this industry. Now let's get to the best part here. It is my pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, my dear friend Casey Hurbis, Chief Marketing Officer of Rocket Mortgage. Let me give you a little background on Casey, if you don't know already. He's the Chief Marketing Officer of Rocket Mortgage. He oversees both online and traditional marketing initiatives while driving new, innovative strategies to captivate the audience of the nation's largest and most trusted mortgage lender. To achieve these goals, Casey leads a marketing group of more than 300 team members, known as Detroit's premier in-house agency. Sounds like a lot of people and a lot of work, but he's up to the task, that's for sure. Casey joined the Quicken Loans family in 2017 after 24 years in the automotive marketing space, most recently leading advertising and communications for Fiat, where he helped successfully reintroduce the Fiat brand to American car buyers. Casey is a graduate of Michigan State University, where he can be found cheering on his Spartans every fall, but I'd say every single day. He's got Spartan green in his blood, and more than that, he's one of the best guys in our industry, bar none. And he's going to take you through his keynote speech here. Can't be more happy to have Casey join us today. So Casey, it's your show, my man. Take it away.
Great. And you hear me okay, Andrew?
Sure do.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. And to echo Michelle and Andrew, thank you so much for taking time out of your day on a Saturday. I think that already says, I think we've got over 125, 130 folks that are joining us today, and it's a true testament to what you're doing to further your career and your advancement here in the advertising industry. So listen, I think it's so awesome that you're here with us today. You know, as Andrew mentioned, Adcraft Detroit, you know, the nation's oldest ad club, maybe probably one of the largest. It's so important. Adcraft has been a big part of my career over 28 years here in the Detroit ad community. And so I want to make sure that you today, and we're going to talk about some of the speakers that are here. You've seen the agenda. This is a chance for all of you to lean in, listen, and learn. There's a lot of amazing things that are happening in Detroit. Well before I started my career and well after I wrap up my career here in the Metro Detroit area. And you think about Detroit, I think it's one of the most dynamic, interesting ad markets in our country. There's over $6 billion being spent coming out of the Detroit advertising community. You think about it. And some of the folks are here with us today. General Motors, Ford, Stellantis, Carhartt, Quicken Loans, Rocket Mortgage. The list goes on and on. A huge marketplace in the Metro Detroit ad community. And think about all the different places that you could start and grow your career. So most of these companies are actually represented today. I mean, I was going through the list, and I'll tell you what, I'm excited to hear from Kendra Mazey from Assembly, my good buddy Craig Conrad, for the president of Donor, Jeff Cruz, one of the best creative folks around at MRM. You're going to hear from Leanne Balicki and Dan Agoy with the Rocket Companies, Denise Smith, University of McCann, Abby Berriman with NBCU. Like, the list goes on and on. From a client side, whether it's the OEMs, Rocket Mortgage, other brands, agencies, media companies, and partners, the opportunities are endless when it comes to being part of the Detroit advertising community. This list has changed. If I were to show you the list 25 years ago when I first started, probably 75% of these logos wouldn't be on this screen. But the market and the industry continues to evolve. And so I think that's really, really exciting as you embark on your career here in advertising. So a little bit about me. Andrew gave a great bio. Thank you, Andrew. You know, born and raised in Metro Detroit. Some way, somehow, I had the grades to get to Michigan State. And first and foremost, though, you know, I'm a father, husband, brother, cousin, godfather. My bride, Cynthia, we met, geez, now 28 years ago. 28 years ago, we met. We were summer lifeguards. So we've been married 21 years, 22 this year. We're very, very blessed to have two amazing children. My daughter, Peyton, who's in 9th grade, and my son, Cash, who's in 4th grade. We just moved from Milford to Birmingham during the pandemic. So we're really enjoying getting to, you know, be part of the Birmingham community, a little closer to downtown Detroit. And they are my light, and so blessed to, you know, have a wonderful family. So a little bit about my career. When I graduated in 1993, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And we're going to talk about networking and leveraging your network. And I had a family friend that was in the advertising business. And I started asking him questions during college. Back when I was at Michigan State, you really didn't intern. Really, it was engineering and packaging and probably hotel restaurant management. You really didn't have internships. When I came out of school, I was blessed enough to get an entry-level job, traffic coordinator at Chrysler's agency. It evolved over time, was with BBDO. When I started at BBDO, very quickly, I started working on the DAA, Tier 2 automotive business. Every automaker has them. At Chrysler, they were called DAAs. At Ford, they call them FDAF. At GM, they call them LMAs, LMGs. And so I started working on the Tier 2 business. And I was a young man. At 23, I moved to Memphis. At 25, I went down to Houston. That's a photo of me in 1997. So we'll call that 24 years ago. And I'll tell you what, I look at that picture every single day, and it just feels like yesterday that picture was taken. Now, the technology we used was a little bit different. You can see in front of me, I've got a Franklin Covey Franklin Planner, which was, you know, the precursor to the Palm Pilot. That computer there over my left shoulder, to this day, I don't know what the hell I used it for. It was the days before, you know, Windows. It was probably MS-DOS and God knows what. So I was with the agency for 17 years. Very, very blessed. I got to lead some regional business at BBDO. And then in 2010 and 11, there were a lot of changes that took place in the marketplace, right? Chrysler and GM came out of bankruptcy. They severed their relationships. 95 years, GM had their agency relationships. BBDO was the agency of record for 65 years with Chrysler, then what became FCA. So along that journey, I was asked by one of my clients, Susan Thompson, who leads up the media business still at FCA, to join what was now called FCA. And I joined. So literally, I'm going from one day on the agency side to the next day I was over at Chrysler, where I was blessed to lead the Fiat brand launch back in the US. Fiat had been in the US from 1909 to 1984, had left the country. And then when Mr. Marchione and Fiat took control of Chrysler, renamed it FCA, it was built upon the promise of bringing alternative fuel technology and low mileage, 40 miles a gallon vehicles to the US. And so I was blessed to launch the Fiat brand in the US. This was simply our brief. So if we were working with any one of our agencies, it was like, let's be clear. We will never have the budgets of a Ford, a GM, a Hyundai, whatever it might be. We have a Fiat budget. So what we need to do, everything we do in the marketplace, we've got to make sure that we shake up the American landscape. So I think we did some amazing, really interesting work that was maybe a little bit edgy, maybe pissed a few people off, but there's an old adage, and we did a couple of spots with Charlie Sheen, Craig Conrad, remember those crazy moments on set. And there's an adage that Charlie would tell us, you know what, when they stop talking about you in this town, you're done. So we had to make sure we were a brand that people were talking about. And it was an amazing 7-year run where I got to learn a lot. I had the privilege of working for Olivier Francois, who is the global CEO for the Fiat brand. He was also the global, and still is, chief global marketing officer for FCA, and has just done, I think he's celebrating his 10th or 12th year at FCA, and has done just incredible work for all of the brands. But along that journey, I got a phone call, and the phone call was to interview as the chief marketing officer at the Quicken Loans Rocket family companies and obviously now Rocket Mortgage and the Rocket companies. And so I went down, and over time I was able to be offered the position, and I started 4 years ago. So here I am, born and raised in Metro Detroit. I've never been able to work in a city. And I will tell you, I feel like a 25-year-old kid again, working in the city that I grew up in. It's just absolutely awesome. I'm absolutely awestruck every day, seeing all the development and progress that our city and communities continue to have. But a little bit about our company. You may know this guy, Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert, born and raised in Southfield, started the company over 35 years ago. Him and his brother and a partner, it was a summer hustle when he was up at Michigan State, hung a shingle right after he graduated from college. And now 35 years later, is where we've built the Rocket companies, which I'll share more about. A lot of people think about Dan, when I leave Detroit and I talk about who we are, a lot of people think about Dan as the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers and, hosting, the first championship in the great city of Cleveland in over 50 years in 2016. And that's a fun part of our business too, is being able to not only be a Pistons fan, but a Cavs fan as they continue to grow. But Dan had a vision. There's a crazy story in 2000 when he said, we're going to take mortgages online. I want to start doing what Zappos and Amazon's doing for books, and what music is what's starting to happen in the music place with like Napster. And so literally they launched a website in 1999, and it was called Rock Financial. And the first day he came into the office about halfway through, and he says, how's it going? And the engineers that were sitting there said, it's going great. We got 800 clicks or visits that day. And he said, that's it, shut it down. And those engineers had a moment of panic. What he meant was shut it down. We had brick and mortar offices all over the country, traditional mortgage companies. And he said, shut it down. And Dan left the room. Lawyers were panicked, trying to figure out how to, unwind brick and mortar and regulations. And the two engineers looked at each other and they realized they were responsible for 700 of those 800 clicks testing the site. But think about the vision that he had in 1999 of like, we want to start revolutionizing and evolving what in this business, what is happening with books, travel, and music. And here we are 21 years later, and you just see the continued evolution of financial planning, savings, mortgage, the list goes on and on. I mean, 20 years ago, I couldn't imagine, clicking and having a car delivered to my house. But here we are in such an amazing visionary. And so Rocket Mortgage was born in 2016 during the Super Bowl. We'll talk more about that. But at the end of the day, we've got 17,000 people, 18,000 people here in downtown Detroit who are absolutely obsessed with finding a better way for our clients, finding a better way to be who we are and help our communities in the areas and the places that we live. So a little bit about Rocket Companies. A lot of people don't know this. Even when you're in Detroit and you step away from it, we have within the Rocket Companies and the Rock family of companies, over 100 companies within the portfolio. FinTech, entertainment, VC. Some brands you may know, some brands you may not know. We've got 33,000 team members across the country. So yes, Quicken Loans, Rocket Mortgage, we call it the big red machine. The companies, I guarantee every one of you knows who StockX is, right? The stock market of everything. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 100 Thieves with the League of Legends, Zenith football helmets, Shinola Hotel, anyone that gives gas station TV. And we made an acquisition last year of Dictionary and Thesaurus.com. So the portfolio continues to grow. And it's really exciting when you're part of this company and that you never know what opportunities might be available to you. So within the marketing world, Andrew mentioned we have 300 team members on the Quicken Loans Rocket Mortgage marketing team. We are Detroit's largest in-house agency. Some stats there, over 300 folks. 35% of our team, our growth over the years, when I joined 4 years ago, we were at 130 team members. We're now at 330. We have 35% of our team that has been converted from internships. We have over 1,200 interns across the organization every summer. We have upwards of 20,000 applicants. 35% of the marketing team has grown from interns. They're not all 23. Some of them have been there 5, 10, 15 years. So we really enjoy, it's one of my favorite times of year of having interns. I believe in having year-round interns. During the summer, we'll have upwards of 40, 45 great young people join our team. During the fall and summer, we have a few that stay with us, and it just really love enjoying sharing who we are and what we do. And I think the interns have a great experience. We're a big shop. Last year, we produced over 25,000 creative assets, whether that's video, print, digital, whatever, everything else in between. I mean, we are doing everything between Super Bowl and t-shirts. Full service agency for brand strategy, performance marketing, SEO, SEM, third-party lead by acquisition, the operations team, which I established 2 years ago, a team solely focused on people, process, technology. We also have agency partners that we work with. We're blessed to have Universal McCann as our brand media plan and buying agency. We also work with Intersport on all of our sports partnerships. And what we've grown over the last 4 years, we're an in-house agency for 9 brands now within the Rocket Company's portfolio. Rocket Mortgage, of course, that's the brand. Rocket Homes, taking on truly a realtor, Redfin. That brand continues to grow. You're going to start seeing that brand on national broadcast this year. Rocket Pro, which is like broker business. It's literally the tier 3 part of the mortgage business. We're number 2 in the country from a share standpoint. I promise you, you are going to hear about Rocket Pro on the grandest stage of them all here very, very shortly. We're excited about that. Edison Financial, we're growing a mortgage discipline and business in Canada as we expand. We launched Rocket Auto, very similar to like a Carvana and Vroom. We just launched that this past year. And we also stood up a centralized agency, Rock Central. You'll hear from the great Dan Agoy later about Rock Central and the amazing things we're doing there from a talent acquisition standpoint. We do a lot of things as a brand. This is really exciting. You come in and you're part of our team. Yes, we're doing college basketball. We're in Super Bowl. We're doing a PGA Tour event in Detroit, the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. We have a lot of things going on as a brand, and we continue to evolve, and it's an exciting place to be. So what I want to do is wrap it up a little bit and kind of share with you some of my, a lot of people ask me, what would you tell the 22-year-old Casey as you sit here 28 years later in the business? And some of these are my operating philosophies. This one, I can't stress enough. It's Warren Buffett. And when he said this quote, he didn't mean it for how I interpret it. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about it, you'll do things different. There's another follow-up quote I use that applies to me. I'm glad I grew up in the 70s, 80s. I did so much stupid shit, and there's no record of anywhere. The point of that is, what I always say is, your brand, you are consistently building your brand every single day. Whether you're in school, you're working your summer jobs, you're doing your internships, and certainly as you start career. You are your own brand. What you are on LinkedIn, your brand is on Facebook, your brand is on Snap, it's on TikTok, whatever it might be. Just think about what your brand says. What does it say about you? If I'm going to interview you and I'm going to bring you on even as a summer intern or as a full-time team member, I want to understand what your brand is. And social media and your usage of social media is probably the best representation of how I can learn about who you are. And so when I give this, I give this quote to everybody. I go to my kids' schools and I tell middle school, I tell high school interns, and I apply it to myself. Has there been a Saturday or Sunday I woke up and I probably did not listen, abide by this? Yeah. But do I look back on my use of social media 5-10 years ago and go, whoa, that's not who I am. That's not my brand, certainly anymore. Damn right I do. So think about what your brand looks like. And as you continue to paint that canvas of your personal brand. This one I'm a firm believer in. Andrew and I spent about 20 minutes last night talking about this. This is a long game that we're all in, a long game of business, a long game of life. And one of the things I really pride myself on, and maybe I have not always been successful here. I mean, we all have our moments where we could have done better, but never, ever, ever, if you can, burn a bridge. You never know when that bridge will have to be crossed again. the number of times people call me a week asking about different candidates for roles, or the, word of mouth. You always want to, I'm hoping that if you talk to people, say, oh, Casey Hurbis, I'm hoping 80-90% of them have good things to say. There might be 10 or 20 that don't. And whether it's warranted or not, I may not know. But I really work hard to, I try to treat everybody the same, whether you're Dan Gilbert, whether you're the person cleaning my office at 7:30 every night, you're in interaction with a stranger, working with a service worker, or whatever it might be. Just important that you try and never, ever burn a bridge. What you're doing here today, I did not understand the power of networking until I was a little bit later in my career. The importance of connections that you make, whether it's today. I mean, again, you are talking to cream of the crop leadership here in Detroit for the next 5, 6, 7 hours. Take advantage of every single one of it. Take notes, connect with them on LinkedIn, send them handwritten notes, learn. You'll be amazed what can happen with networking, the power of networking. What a relationship that I formed in 1995 carries all the way through, or it's something, an interaction I had with a human in 95 or 96. Now, 20 years later, a relationship can be refostered, or an opportunities to work together or share ideas. It's important to always develop network. And by the way, you grow those relationships along the way. You should be invested in relationships every single day. I'm an old guy. I'll tell you, I spend more time developing, forming relationships now than I ever have in my life. Work towards having trust-based relationships, because all of you have this in our own way. A blank canvas, right? You're in school, you're in high school, you moved to college, you had a blank canvas to work from. I spent 27 years in automotive marketing, and I thought I knew everybody. And I came to Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage as a CMO. I knew one person. So I literally, my canvas went back blank 4 years ago. Always think about what you are doing to add to your canvas. So when I look at your picture, what am I seeing? And if I walk behind that easel, is what you're painting truly who you are? So have an amazing day. Have a blessed Saturday. Take advantage. Lean in, learn, listen. Dan Gilbert always tells me, I've never learned anything by talking. Take advantage of every single moment today. Michelle, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you, Casey. Thank you for sharing your journey and for the inspiring words. It's a great way to start off this day. All right, so next stops, we have 2 sessions going. So we will see you in either account and project management, or our other webinar happening is Social 360. So we're gonna get off this link, head over to those links, and we will see everyone in a few. Thanks again.